Hey, this is Pedal Partners, the home of shoegaze since I was born in Oxford back in the day. And today we're looking at Slowdive setup around the time of Souvlaki, 1993. Going to be looking at Rachel's, at Christian's and Neil's pedal boards. Helped today with a wonderful array of pedals, including a beautiful stack of Pedal Partners by Manako Labs pedals, including a really rare prototype version of the Blush. Manako is always doing such a great job, and he actually gave me orange sliders for this one. So I've actually set up my pedal board. This is Neil's pedal board to be in a similar order to what he had on Souvlaki and the 1993 tour around then. So I'll go through the signal chain first, the order, because people always ask at the chords, they get confused the order. I'm going from the Jaguar here into a tuner, and then I've got a tremolo blues driver, I've got a distortion here, modulation pedal here, 2 delays, a reverb, and then another delay.
The first thing I think of when I think of Slowdive is modulated delay, and we have that with Blush.
And modulated reverb with DREAMGAZER, vintage engineered soft nostalgia shoegaze modulation. Perfect, we got it.
How perfect is that name too?
Yeah, we got it 4 times in a row, mate. Like, how much soft nostalgia? We love it so much. How much do you want? In fact, when we were developing Blush, we were actually going to have a different sound in there, but then was it Paige, you and Becca was like, let's put soft nostalgia in it. And
yeah, because I want all of our pedals to sound so rich on their own that like you could use them on their own. Yeah, we had to have it. And
this is like the closest I've been able to get to, you know, my ideal modulated shoegaze. I guess you could say Slowdive delays. I've been searching for the perfect modulated delay for a long time, and this is the best.
And with Blush, you can actually create custom modulated delays to taste, because we can blend soft nostalgia into liking. So you can go 50 or 100% blend, or even 0 if you don't want modulation.
So on Neil's original board, he had 2 DD3s and a PS2. So as you can probably tell from the name of our pedal, this is a delay pitch shifter, so similar to the PS2, but then the vintage engineering we're using is similar to that era of the DD3 around that time. So vintage kind of 90s delays, so perfect for what we're doing today. And then the cherry on top, which Neil necessarily wouldn't be able to do back in the day, is the panning we have out, the stereo panning out on the Blush, which is great for Slowdive sounds. They're big users of the Jazz Chorus, and part of the reason why I love the Jazz Chorus so much. So I'll be going stereo out of the last Blush here into a 120 on one side and a JC40 on the other side. So like the combination of the vintage digital delays, the modulation, and the stereo imaging, such an immersive shoegaze Slowdive sound.
Nostalgic 90s shoegaze guitar.
Yep. So a little bit of background on the channel if you're new to this place that we call Pedal Partners. Why we do what we do, why we love shoegaze so much, why it's all we do. So I was born in Oxford, and the surrounding area was all the OG shoegaze bands.
They called it the scene of Slowdive itself.
People like Slowdive, the greatest band that ever was in the history of bands, Chapter House, Ride, and so many more. Just you look at the OG shoegaze bands, they're going to come from the Thames Valley, places like Oxford, London and Reading. So yeah, big love for it, and I've actually done 2 degrees on shoegaze, got 2 dissertations on shoegaze, which is just, yeah, very committed. Like, this is the purpose of my life, is shoegaze. It's in my blood.
Luca didn't talk to me for like weeks because he just put his head down and did those dissertations. He was so into it.
It made me feel bad. Yeah, I think like most people when they do degrees, they like do their dissertation over the degree. I just had a 2-week period where I just wrote. That's all I did.
Yeah.
Just write. It wasn't actually that fun, but I was, sometimes my work ethic, I just get it done. So
that's how we get these pedals done.
That's how we do what we do with just the 3 of us, and 4 if you include Manako. That's how we're able to just do the work of what would usually take a whole team
all
of
of
people.
these films.
Yeah, all these films and all these pedals, and yeah, that's the fruition of all of that hard work and all of that, everything that we've done is these pedals, these unique vintage engineered pedals. Nothing else like that out there. Not using standard chipsets, but pure shoegaze vintage engineering from Manako Labs. So at the end of Neil's 93 setup was a Korg A3, which is a multi-effect rack unit. But for all things rack units nowadays, I'm using the rack unit in a pedal, which is our DREAMGAZER right here.
Becca calls DREAMGAZER our comfort pedal.
Yeah, it's just such a beautiful thing, right?
Nostalgic sounds.
And it's just, I can't understate the genius that is Manako Labs. So those Korg A3s are going for like $600, $700, and they're just so bulky and just a pain, really, to be honest. We love the rack unit sound, but it's just a pain to transport and stuff. So to have it in a 9-volt pedal like this is just crazy. Manako is just the genius.
DREAMGAZERs for the shoegazers.
Yeah, it's just like I'm just thinking how small this is compared to our rack unit as well. So this does lots. We've got our soft nostalgia shoegaze modulation. We've got a shallower kind of lo-fi mode, a blossom reverb, which is a rack unit reverb, and a reverse reverb, which is also based on rack unit sounds. Boss PN2 tremolo pan. This is one of our favorite pedals, right? I think you got this for me for Christmas.
Yeah, I did a few years ago. We have a list of all of the vintage pedals that we'd like to try, and that's what our Shoegaze Secret Series is for. So
yeah, and in fact I wanted this one, ever since the PS2 was a big moment for me, and I've been saying this with Blush, our own delay pitch shifter. The PS2 really opened my eyes to a lot of things, and one of the things was I wanted to collect all the Boss pedals from around the same time period, and this is one of them. You can even see those knobs are the same knobs as are on the PS2 and the RV2 and a few of the other ones around that time. So this is a really good one. So later on this would be replaced by the Boss TR2 tremolo, which is still available today. But that tremolo is just not as good. It doesn't have the panning which this one does. And in fact, Manako pointed something out to me that I didn't even think of myself the other day. This PN2 has a rate LED, which is just not on the TR2. So this is my preferred tremolo. I just like the look of it as well. Kind of looks kind of weird. There's only 3 knobs and then an LED knob. So yeah, this is a great pedal, and it would have been one of the most available tremolos at the time. So that's probably why it's on Neil's pedal board at the time there. And he would have been less likely to using the panning function because it is first in his chain, most likely just using it for tremolos. And there is so much tremolo in Slowdive's music, and in particular more recently I've really been listening in closely because they always hide tremolo in their songs, even the newer stuff, the stuff from Everything Is Alive, the 2017 self-titled album. There's tremolo hidden in there. And then on Souvlaki is just a wash of sound. There's so many effects in there. You got flanger as well, which is hidden all over the place. You got tremolo, phaser, delays, reverb. There, all the effects come together in that album. That has got to be the best album of all time. I have to say, like, the overdrives and distortions that Slowdive use, probably like the least adventurous part of their pedalboard, is probably my like least favorite part. So back in the day, Neil was using a Boss OD2, which is a yellow overdrive. I've got my blue BD2 Wazacraft actually here. Nowadays he's using stuff like the SD1. We're not really fans of the yellow Boss overdrives, are we? It's just not a thing.
Yeah, and Blue Shiver's one of those things on the channel that just really stuck with people, I guess it was really early on in the channel and people started to realize we were using gear that's not used for shoegaze.
Yeah.
And that's just what this channel is for, sharing how we're making our own music and how we use gear differently than it is used a lot of the time.
And I mean, yeah, those videos where I started out was just like Boss BD2 shoegaze in like every video.
Also, we were just using what we could get at the time.
that's what I was gonna say is we're just students making these videos. So this was how I was making my sound. It was affordable, it sounded great. It's a really versatile pedal, and I'm still loving it to this day. So I think every shoegazer 2024 probably has a BD2.
When we first met, Luca said that I had one of his guitar pedals, and out of the ones that he had, I chose the blues driver, and he thought it was kind of funny because he had ones that were worth more than that and were a little bit more interesting than that, but I really liked the way that he was using it and the sounds he was getting, so I took it. And then it was funny that was really one of the first pedal takeaways for people on the channel. I guess that we're all taking the blues driver from Luca.
And now every shoegazer now has a BD2. Then Neil had a Rat on his board. But I have the Oxford drive here for my like heavier distortions, which is more like a Shedmaster thing. I'm not really a purist when it comes to distortions. I don't have a Rat, I'm just using what I've got. I also handy that this pedal is called Oxford, and I love Oxford. Another handy feature of this pedal is made by the King of Gear, and we're all about, you know, supporting small. So next in Neil's 93 pedal board was a TC Electronic Phaser. Back when they were doing some pretty good pedals, unfortunately not so much now, but I'm just using what I have, which is the Boss MD200, and a lot of you in fact discovered our channel through my MD200 video, so go watch it again.
I was actually excited. I thought we were going to use one of our vintage phasers that you guys don't even know that we have, because we've been meaning to make a Shoegaze Secrets film on it for ages, but we didn't get around to it, so I guess another time.
It was being vintage and it wasn't working. Now for Christian's Souvlaki 1993 pedal board. Christian's actually really cool. He's tried a few of our pedals. He's got the DREAMGAZER. He's going to be getting the Blush. So that's really cool. A shout out to Simon as well. Slowdive are just such cool people. Simon's seen Simon using the DREAMGAZER live for 3/4 Skies, and go check out 3/4 Skies, really good music. So Christian is the guitarist in Slowdive, making a lot of the ethereal noises, the ethereal drones since the inception of the band. So first on his board he had a volume pedal. Do we even have a volume pedal? I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I'm not really too interested in a volume pedal. You can do that in different ways. You can do that with the volume on your guitar, for example. Volume pedals is not why I got into pedals. Just gonna leave that. And then he had a OD2 and a Turbo Rat. Again, I don't have the yellow Boss Overdrives, like I said, for Neil's board. Don't really like them, and still don't have a Rat, but I do have a BD2. And mostly for these Slowdive sounds, I'm focusing on the delays and the reverbs and the modulations. Obviously the distortion is nice, but at the end of the day, that's probably, while you can use distortion for Slowdive sounds, and they do use it for some of the crescendos, by the time it's got modeled up with all these other effects, I don't think it's too big a deal what kind of distortion you're using. And the BD2 is close enough for the sounds I want to make today. Next in Christian's chain was modulation. So he had a standard chorus pedal, a standard phaser pedal. But for my chorus, I've actually opted for the Soft Nostalgia and DREAMGAZER because it's become my favorite modulation. We really enjoy it. It's such a nostalgic. It's such a nostalgic sound. Oh, that's why we called it Soft Nostalgia, because it is so nostalgic, right? Now for my favorite part of the pedal board.
Yeah, for the longest time, Luca always said that reverb was his favorite effect. I think he actually did think that, but I knew deep down secretly it was always delay. I always said, name me better duo than Luca and delay.
So yeah, I mean, that's why we made our own delay. So Christian was using a DD3, like we mentioned earlier in the video. Blush is perfect for vintage delay sounds, and that's why we got it there just so much. And I can't wait to have a full pedal board just of our pedals. They look so beautiful together. And then how could we not mention the FX 500? So with DREAMGAZER, we've got a rack unit inspired pedal. And when we say inspired, it's actually using similar vintage engineering techniques to what the original rack units had. So not a modern DSP trying to emulate that, but authentic vintage engineering for a full sound, for the authentic sound. And then you didn't have a delay last in a shame, but I just love that panning so much and it sounds so Slowdive-y. So I've got another blush delay.
So for Rachel's setup, like Neil and Christian, she was using a Boss OD2, and other than that, she was really only using the FX 500 like Christian used. Perfect example that although shoegaze is all about layered textural effects, it's not about how many effects you're using, but how you're using them.